Good morning students, here Sonu sir with a new video of class 8 SST history. Students, in previous video of chapter 3 SST ruling the countryside, we have been discussed up to impoverishment of the peasantry, that how they by their Rotwari system and by their Mahalwadi system they impoverize the peasants, or they exploited the peasants and farmers, that they took 1/2 as a tax of their agricultural production. So it was too high, by that peasants were in very bad condition. And next we see students, today's topic is commercialization of agriculture. So after the time passes, British understood that if they do not commercialize the agriculture sector, they will not take in profit, or they will lose something of economy. So after the land revenue policies failed to, student page number 31, topic commercialization of agriculture. After the land revenue policies failed to bring the desired results, the company coaxed the peasants to grow cash crops such as indigo, cotton, jute, sugarcane, rubber, raw silk, opium, paper, tea and sugar. So students, if you see word body, there is word coaxed, means persuaded, that they had to do that things. They had to do grow cash crops by their peasants. So such as indigo, cotton, jute, sugarcane, rubber, raw silk, opium, paper, tea and sugar. So these all cash crops were in demand to grow by peasants, and demand was of British. And then what happens? Companies, the reason behind the company's preference for the cultivation of cash crops was to cater the needs of the Western markets. Students, what was the need to grow cash crops? It was to cater the market, Western market. What is Western markets, students? As you know, the markets of Europe, Italy, France, Germany, and all Europe's market that is in need of that type of cash crops like cotton, jute, sugarcane, rubber, raw silk, opium, and paper, tea, and sugar. These all things was in use mainly in Western markets also at that time. To fulfill that demands, the British company here persuaded or motivated farmers and peasants to grow cash crops which were demanded in Western markets. So they were purchasing that cash crops in low price and were selling in high prices to their Western markets. So that was the matter of profit to them. Then students, what happens? So also cash crops generated more revenue than food crops, as we know, because cash crops, the crops which were of high cost prices things, also gives more revenue while we sell it or purchase it. So these were grown in large estates called plantations. So opium and indigo were among the most popular cash crops in the Western markets. These were grown in large estates called plantations. So then what happens? These two cash crops like indigo and opium. Opium was in use of their toxic use, and as you know, indigo was in use of blue ink is made up of indigo. So these two plants were in most demand in Western countries. That is why the plantation of these two plants began morely. So students, we talk about opium. In 1765, the company decided to produce opium in India and smuggle it to China. Contractors were hired to produce opium. The price was kept low as the intent was to cultivate it on a large scale. So there was a huge demand of opium in China. So British started cultivation of opium and started to sell in Chinese market, and they purchased that thing in low prices, that profit will be more of them. So the company yielded high profits from opium cultivation. It used this profit to purchase tea and other goods from China that were in demand in Europe. As we know, some products of China also were in demand in Europe, so they sold them opium, and in place of that they purchased tea and some other things which was famous in China and was also demanded in Western markets. So students, if we talk about indigo, indigo is a natural blue colored dye used for coloring clothes, as we know, our blue ink. So why was Indian indigo is in high demand? So students, Indian indigo was used in France, Italy and Britain since the 13th century by cloth manufacturers. So if we talk this all mighty emperors, mighty countries like France, Italy and Britain in 13th century was in more use of cloth manufacturers, and they have been used of indigo of India. So but they had to bear huge expenses to import indigo. But to import indigo, the men of France and Italy and Britain had to bear more expenses. So what they did then, due to the cost factor, another type of plant called woad began to be cultivated in Europe, northern Italy and few other countries to produce a violet and blue colored dye. So what happened, students? France, Italy and Britain demanded more indigo, but it was too high to import that plants on their city or a country. So they started cultivation of a plant called woad. What is woad, student? I have to explain. In Hindi we see Neel Ranjak. It used to as a dye stuff of blue color. It is copy of indigo plants. It was cultivated in place of indigo because it was in more demand, as we see. So northern Italy and few other countries to produce a violet and blue color dye. So Europe, northern Italy and some other countries started cultivation of woad, which was blue colored dye and copy of indigo. So although there was a demand to ban the import of indigo by the wood cultivators, cloth manufacturers preferred the use of indigo because of its rich color. So students, the wood plants was enough to copy indigo, but the rich producers of clothes were in demand of indigo more than woods because it was rich in color, and that is why wood cultivators of European countries wanted to ban the indigo of India because they were in less profit in spite of that. So what happens? But the producer of clothes of Europe preferred more indigo compared than wood. So what happens? Countries such as France, Portugal, Britain and Spain started cultivating indigo. So after realizing that the rich color of indigo is more demanded in cloth industry, so France, Portugal, Britain and Spain also started cultivating of indigo. The demand for indigo increased by the end of 18th century with expansion of cotton production in Britain due to the Industrial Revolution. So as we know, in 18th century, Industrial Revolution started in England, and they started producing cotton more and more, and by the color of cotton, to color that cotton, indigo was in more demand. So the quantity of indigo imported from the other countries could not suffice the demand. What is suffice to be seen verbally with the needs of. So that means the indigo which was importing in Britain that time was not sufficient. Suffice is made from the word sufficient. It is a half portion of word sufficient. So what is suffice means that some things which is needs of, which is not cleared. So there was not sufficient indigo if Britain was wanted to import. So that is why that country started cultivating of indigo. But due to the Industrial Revolution of England of 18th century, all production of indigo elsewhere was in European country or was in Indian countries or India. It was not sufficient to fulfill the demand of indigo of Europe. So production of indigo in the world decreased by half, and Britain had to look for alternate sources for indigo supply. So as we know, production of the world indigo decreased by half, and Britain had to look for alternate sources for indigo supply. So and that time we see the half production of indigo was in the world. So they had to bring some new product or some alternate product for that. So what they did, since Indian indigo was superior in quality, Britain turned towards the India for its cultivation. So after all experiment, Britain got to understand that the Indian cultivation of indigo or Indian indigo is mostly preferred in other countries, and if we import that indigo from India, it will be too costly to import, and if we produce indigo in European countries, it will not good in production and sufficient for the demand. And if we see the wood tree or plant in copy of indigo is also not as rich as indigo of India. So at last British decided that we would go to India to cultivate indigo in that country, and we will purchase from there in less rate and will sell in high rate in European country. So that game of the game of business started from there, and it was some kind of exploitation of our peasants and countrymen, that they were our countrymen were born to produce indigo in the threat of British. So this was something cruel condition for us. So what happens, students, after that? So they came to India for cultivation of indigo. Britain turns to India. The industrial revolution in Britain increased the demand for indigo by the cloth dyers. The company in India started pressuring the peasants to cultivate indigo in their fields so that it could be sent to Britain. So after then, Britain started pressure on Indian peasants to cultivate more and more indigo in their fields, and has to send their indigo in Western countries. Bengal indigo dominated the world market, and if we see that time, the indigo Bengal was dominating the world market. As the market for indigo expanded, many European countries came to India to set up indigo plantations. So after the time when plantation and when the need of indigo increased, so all other European countries also came to India to grow or to cultivate indigo. So what happens, students? As you know, indigo what is? Right. If we see in Hindi, that is neem, plant of neem. So students, what happens then? As you know, Bengal indigo was dominating all over the world. So whenever the market expanded, all European countries started to cultivate in India. But the later peasants were asked to repay the loans by cultivating indigo and selling it to the planters at a fixed price. So in the beginning, these planters gave loan to the peasants to cultivate indigo on their lands. Firstly, by the greed of money, they started to giving loan to the peasants to grow or to cultivate indigo. But what happens then? But later the peasants were asked to repay the loan by cultivating indigo and selling it to the planters at a fixed price. So after giving loan, they also fixed the price and time to purchase that indigo. That is why the loans would be recovered, and in spite and on behalf of that loans, peasants and farmers had to pay that loans in fixed time. And because that money lenders or that European money lenders were free to impose any fixed rate which they want of cultivation, it would be less or more. So this was huge loss of our countrymen. In spite that British were purchasing, firstly they became money lender to give loans, and then they purchased the indigo in less price to recover their loans. It was double game with our countrymen. So then what happens, students? If the peasant did not comply with the planters, their houses and crops were burnt, and after some time it was exploitation of money before in start, but after some time they started exploitation anyhow they can did. So what happens? They also burnt their houses and crops if they were not comply. What is the meaning of comply, students? To obey an order or a rule. If they were not obeying or following the rules which were given from British side, that money lender started, that British person started to burn and burn to house and crops of indigo of that peasants. It was too bad situation for them. In 1830 an act was passed stating that if the cultivators broke the indigo contracts they would be imprisoned, and something health things which was happened after that. Students, you have to see the meaning of contracts. If we see on one body, contracts when written or verbal agreement. If the cultivator of indigo in India were not able to fulfill the indigo contract, or if they broke the indigo contracts which was in British and cultivators, so they would be imprisoned. So they would be sent in jail also if they were not able to fulfill the rule of contracts which was passed by British between both of them. So they imprisoned also in jail if they were not able to survive the rules which were contracted. So how was indigo cultivation done? The 2 ways through which indigo was cultivated were niche and reuti cultivation. In niche cultivation, the planters either purchased or rented lands from zamindars and hired cultivators to cultivate indigo. In reuti cultivation, the rows grew indigo on their own land. So there were 2 conditions in situation to grow or cultivate indigo. First was niche cultivation. That means somebody has to purchase or take rented lands from zamindars and had to hire some cultivators also to cultivate. So only in niche cultivation, if we see, only the money was of that owner who imposed money on the field to take rent and sponsor some cultivator who cultivate indigo on that land. So niche cultivator is only who do business through money on that land. And if we see reuti cultivators were who were cultivating the indigo on their own lands. So students, in this video we are going to conclude by the niche and reuti cultivation of indigo. So what was niche cultivation? In that somebody having more money and taking some land from zamindar in rent or purchase of that land, and after that he start cultivation from some cultivators and take business for that. And what is reuti cultivation of indigo? That means someone has his own land and he is cultivating indigo on his particular land. So that is niche cultivation. So students, in next video we will more classified do classification of this chapter of niche cultivation and reuti cultivation and what problems occur by both of cultivation. So in next video we will read further. Today's homework, you have to write a small summary of indigo production and what was problem occurred in that time and how peasants handled that situation and what problems occurred to British and other European countries to cultivate and to grow indigo in India and in their own country. And also you have to classify the difference in wood and indigo tree. In next video students we will further read. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you.